Located in Central Asia, Mongolia has an area of 1,564,116 million square meters and a population of 2,734 million people. It borders the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China. Administratively, Mongolia is divided into 21 imags, provinces, and 360 sums, districts. There are 4 seasons in Mongolia. Mongolia has 2.8 million head of horses, of which 680,000 are stallions and 660,000 horses. 30% of Mongolian horses graze on the steppes, approximately 20% on the high mountains, some 18% in the forest steppe region, and about 19% in the Gobi. Mature Mongolian horses are able to travel a distance of 150 to 500 kilometers per day. The Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers is a public benefit, non-governmental organization that protects the interests of its members and works with the aim of developing and implementing horse racing development policy, protecting the interests of thousands of child jockeys and racehorse trainers specialized in this sport, and providing support for the development of classic forms of horse sports in Mongolia. The Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers has the following organizational structure: Presidium, President, First Vice President, Vice President and Secretary General. Branch committees in IMAGs and in the capital city. Branch committees in sums and districts. The highest governing authority is the Racehorse Trainers Congress, which is convened every 4 years. The Presidium and the President of the Federation are elected by the Congress. The Presidium of the Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers is composed of 45 members. The President of the Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers is responsible for directing and managing the activities of the Federation, whereas the Secretary General is responsible for the Federation's policy development and day-to-day activities. The policy of the Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers is implemented locally by IMAG, SUM, or district branch committees, which organize horse racing competitions in their respective territories. The Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers has branch federations in 21 IMAGs and some 360 sums of Mongolia. Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers has its own emblem, flag and stamp, and has more than 30,000 members. Racehorse trainers may freely join the Federation and will have the right to elect or to be elected at all levels of the Federation. The Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers is funded by membership and presidium fees, and donations and aids from organizations and individuals. The Federation has its own official website, www.morenurten.mn. A magazine named Global Jockey is published on a quarterly basis and distributed to racehorse trainers, those interested in horses, subscribers, and other readers. Mongolians start training racehorses for the Naadam festival beginning from June 10. They believe that the date for horse training must be the best and the most auspicious for their racehorses. The day of pig or dog, according to the lunar calendar, is for the most part chosen for training. It means that their racehorses will be able to pass over any mountains, no matter how high they are, and travel any roads, no matter how tough they are, without any delays. Buddhism is practiced by Mongolians. On this important day, Buddhist monks are invited to hitching posts to hold a religious service. It is done for the safety of their racehorses and child jockeys, and for wishing them the best. It is said that Buddhist sutras contain incantations that help make racehorses to become calm and smooth-tempered, and to make them race fast for long distances. Mongolia has a vast open territory, and therefore the methods of horse training vary depending on the regions. A racehorse trainer gives different training to his racehorses every day. Loads are increased and racing distances extended little by little. 3 series of sunga, or long-distance training that involves a number of racehorses from many different regions, are conducted prior to the Naadam festival. During the first training, called Baga Sunga, on June 30, the racehorses race 7 kilometers. After the racehorses are relaxed for 3 days, the second training on Dund Sunga is given. This 12-kilometer race is the longest distance training. The last training, or Ik Sunga, is given after 3 days. The distance of this training is 7 kilometers. Afterwards, the racehorses compete during the National Naadam Festival. Mongolia is one of the countries which depicted the horse in their national emblems. In 1921, Mongolia gained independence and freedom thanks to the People's Revolution. The Independence Day is celebrated throughout the country on July 11 to 12. The main event of this festival is horse racing. On July 11 to 12 of each year, horse racing competitions involving approximately 112,000 racehorses take place in all Sums, Imags, and the capital city of Mongolia. More than 30,000 child jockeys aged 7 to 14 years ride these racehorses. Mongolian horse racing is unique in that racehorses of 6 different ages participate in competitions. Racehorses of different ages race different distances. Stallions 22 to 24 kilometers. Racehorses aged above 5 years 25 to 26 kilometers. 5-year racehorses 22 to 24 kilometers. 4-year racehorses 17 to 19 kilometers. 3-year racehorses 12 to 14 kilometers. Colts 10 to 12 kilometers. In order to start a race, the racehorses travel at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour from the finish line to the starting line. It is a tradition that all racehorses start racing back at the starting line at the same time. Let's take racehorses aged above 5 years as an example. The racehorses travel a 25-kilometer distance at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour to the starting line, at which they start racing back at the same time at their highest speed for the above-mentioned 25-kilometer distance to the finish line. Every Mongolian person looks forward to the National Naadam Festival. It is not only a festival, but is also the highest criteria for testing racehorse trainers, child jockeys, and racehorses. Mongolian trainers train their racehorses all year round. Although the racehorse trainers do not always keep their racehorses near home for training in winter or spring, they have a secret of training the racehorses in pasture. The Naadam Festival is a day when racehorse trainers report to the people and see their results. All their work and efforts made throughout the year are evaluated only during these 2 days. Approximately 3,000 racehorses of 6 different ages compete in Ulaanbaatar during the Naadam Festival, whereas 18,000 to 19,500 racehorses race in provincial races and 140.0 to 150.0 thousand racehorses in Soom races. At the starting line, a special facility is dropped to give a signal to start the race at the same time. Mongolian racehorses are met at the finish line after passing through the mountains, hills, and obstacles. The Mongolian Naadam Festival is unique in that the top 5 racehorses are awarded. A person with a special sign in charge of meeting racehorses meets the top 5 racehorses at the finish line to confirm them. The winning 3 racehorses receive the gold, silver, and bronze medals, and all 5 racehorses are anointed with aireg, a fermented maize milk or kumis. The 5 racehorses are brought into the central stadium, where paeans for winners are chanted to them before all the spectators. There is almost no nation that praises their racehorses' strength, speed, and unique characteristics by reciting melodious poems and chanting their titles in a singing manner, except for the Mongols. Horse racing competitions are organized by the Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Training in 4 regions: Western, Eastern, Central, and Hungai, mountainous and wooded area, by the decision of the government of Mongolia on an annual basis. In one region, racehorses prepared by trainers from 5 to 6 IMAGs participate in racing competitions. An average 1,800 racehorses are involved in these competitions. In addition, Ikhherd, Grand Speed in Mongolian, or the Olympics of Racehorses, is held every 3 years and involves all racehorse trainers in Mongolia. The first 9 stallions and racehorses aged above 5 years that raced in provincial, regional, or national Naadam festivals participate in this racing competition. The achievements made by those trainers whose racehorses raced in the National Naadam Festival and regional competitions and took the 1st to the 5th places in Ikhherd are considered for the eligibility for receiving titles. If a trainer gets his racehorse to win the National Naadam Festival, a regional competition, or Ikhherd 4 times, or to take the 2nd to the 5th places 8 times, the title of the glorious racehorse trainer of Mongolia, Aldat Uyak, is conferred on him. If a trainer gets his racehorse to win 6 races, or to take the 2nd to the 5th places 12 times, the title of the leading racehorse trainer of Mongolia, Manlai Uyak, is conferred on the racehorse trainer. If a trainer gets his racehorse to win 10 races, or to take the 2nd to the 5th places 20 times, the title of the distinctly leading racehorse trainer of Mongolia, Tud Manlai Uyak, is conferred on the racehorse trainer by the decree of the President of Mongolia. Nowadays there are 8 distinctly leading racehorse trainers, 49 leading racehorse trainers, and 271 glorious racehorse trainers in Mongolia. Of the racehorse trainers, there are 4 racehorse trainers who are honored herders of Mongolia. Special titles are bestowed by the Mongolian government upon racehorse trainers who made achievements in national racing competitions during the Naadam Festival and in regional racing competitions. The titles of the glorious racehorse trainer, the leading racehorse trainer, and the distinctly leading racehorse trainer are conferred, and decrees issued by the President of Mongolia to certify these titles. Such titles and awards are granted to the racehorse trainers deserving thereof at the Grand Hall of the Government House of Mongolia to pay respect to them. In winter it sometimes reaches -40 degrees Celsius in Mongolia, a country with an extreme climate. To herders practicing pastoral animal husbandry, it is a big celebration to overcome a harsh winter and welcome a spring. It is a tradition that Mongolians race their racehorses, bidding their farewells to the winter and meeting the mild spring. A horse racing competition called Dunjin Garav has been held by the Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers for 7 consecutive years. Race horses of 3 different ages, stallions, racehorses aged above 5 years, and 5-year racehorses compete in this race. More than 1,000 racehorses entered the Spring Regional Horse Racing Competition in 2010. 5 million Mongolian tugrug was awarded to the winning racehorse, and prize money awarded to the owners of the top 60 racehorses. The nomadic Mongols have a tradition that their children are trained to learn to ride at the age of 3 or 4. Children ride gentle horses to put lamb, kids, or sheep until they attain the age of 5 or 6, when they start riding racehorses and become strong on the racetracks. Not every child is allowed to ride a racehorse, but only those who are bright and active and have skills in racing the racehorses they are riding are chosen to ride racehorses. Some racehorse trainers choose high achievers. A Mongolian father chooses a horse among his herd of horses for his son when he turns 3 in order to make him interested in horses. Afterwards, the son is trained to identify the colors of horse. There are a number of colors of horse. First of all, a child is trained to race in a small competition involving few racehorses. In such a way, the child is sent to compete in bigger horse racing competitions after completing many types of simple training. The Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers is 100% responsible for insurance to ensure the safety of child jockeys. In every competition, the top 5 racehorses are awarded. 20% of such awards go to jockeys. The best child jockeys are recognized by the Federation of Mongolian Horse Racing Sport and Trainers for their achievements every year. If a child is recognized as the best jockey of the year 3 times at national level in Mongolia, he or she becomes a master of sports. Those who have been recognized twice become candidates for Master of Sports. Every jockey must learn one thing. It is gingu, a ritual song. Child jockeys perform this song in order to put their racehorses in a good mood. Racehorses feel refreshed and suitably trained while listening to this beautiful and shrill song. Furthermore, child jockeys encourage their racehorses to race faster and faster by singing and crying. The nomadic people live and understand life on horseback from childhood through old age. Their one big culture is horse culture. One cannot imagine the nomadic people who put pure silver bridles and saddles on their horses and keep dearly their horse brands at the khor, the rear part of a ger opposite the entrance, considered as the position of honor, without their horses. Every precious part of horse regarded as the jewel is embodied in the songs, poems, and lifestyles of the Mongols. History witnessed that the Mongols on horseback reached numerous countries of the world to awake them with the sound of their stirrups. The descendants of these warriors are awaking the steppes with the roaring hooves of their horses.